I have to ask you a very important question, Natasha. A very, very important, serious one.
Which is?
Do you think that they were a dysfunctional family in Hum Saath Saath
I
Hain?
don't think Mallika.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T. Sing with me.
Walked in on my parents doing the dirty a few days ago. The first thing in the morning.
कह दिया ना बस. सबके
Yeah.
घर में there is that one, such uncle and one such bua, but everyone just hides it in a very good way. I think we can cut, guys. Hi, my name is Mallika.
Hi, my name is Natasha.
Welcome to UnEvolved. Two best friends, zero evolution.
So today's topic is dysfunctional Indian families in 2024. I personally feel like dysfunctional families are obviously all over the world.
Forget all over, they've been trending for years and years.
Yeah,
That's why I told her in the beginning, why are we saying 2024? She's like, oh, we have to say 2024 because it's new. And so, Natasha, dysfunctional families have been happening for hundreds years and years and centuries now.
That's true. I feel like the term dysfunctional Indian families has come to popularity,
Yeah.
has been widely accepted.
Yeah.
Now we make fun, we
Yes.
crack jokes, we
Yes.
talk to each other about it like it's
Yes.
normal. So maybe let's say that it's normalized.
Yeah, I was just
now.
going to say, it's normalized.
Yeah, where we all accept the fact that especially in India, most of our families are dysfunctional in ways big and small.
Yeah, but Indians are just better at hiding dysfunction. Sabke
Yeah.
ghar mein there is that one, such uncle and one such bua, but everyone just hides it in a very good way.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. You don't even have to go as far as a bua or a uncle. It could even be your parents and like your
And
siblings.
a younger sibling, that's we're
Yeah.
both older siblings, so we know what a younger sibling trait is.
Yeah, and also, but I feel like when you talk about dysfunctional families, the first thing that comes to my mind is Modern Family.
Yeah.
I'm a diehard fan of the show. I've watched it over and over again. And I just feel like the way they've broached the subject, even Schitt's Creek for that matter,
Oh, yeah.
the way they broach the subject of, different people with different personalities, different life experiences, coming together and being a close-knit family, just going through conflicts together, laughing, crying, not giving up on each other. I think it's a beautiful experience to watch something like this.
And I feel like I didn't even think of Schitt's Creek, but that's a great example when, the Moira is so, selfish is the nicest word I can say. Yeah, the nicest word I can say is selfish. But even for Modern Family, you and I both love Modern Family. For anyone that knows us knows that we're compared to Mitch and Cam. She's obviously Mitch and I'm Cam. I'm very theatrical, very dramatic, and Natasha's very like... So,
And Mallika's personality is a little bit.
Alexis. But yeah, so Modern Family is a very good example of a good dysfunctional family where there is, Manny who's in love with his cousin. There is Phil who looks at Gloria in like creepy ways. There's creepy undertones there. There's a father like Jay who has an elder son and a stepson and a younger son, so many kids actually, that he's trying to navigate growing old with, you know.
I
And-
mean, Mitch and Cam have adopted
Yeah,
child
Lily,
for different descent and
Yes.
so many layers to
Yes.
it. And I think we don't have to look too far away from home. Even movies like Dil Dhadakne Do
Or Kapoor and Sons.
Kapoor and Sons have
Yeah.
been very good, like depictions.
Yes.
Forget that. I think Rocky or Rani Ki Prem Kahani in
Yes.
itself also tells you a lot about dysfunctional families.
Yeah.
Which I feel like we've now accepted.
Yeah.
But now that we've looked at the positive side of dysfunctional families, why don't we talk a little bit about the negative side of dysfunctional families? And again, we don't have to look, too far away from home. This person has been in the limelight for a long time. She had a documentary come about on Netflix describing the whole state of affairs that happened. She was in jail for the longest time. So was her husband. It is the infamous murder case where a mother is
Claiming that her daughter is her sister. And she went on to allegedly, we don't know, but allegedly murder her own daughter with her ex-husband, who was not even the girl's father.
Yeah.
And this kind of dysfunction, I can't imagine what it would do to the other child.
So I've read the books, the daughter's book as well as the mother's book. I've read them both.
Yeah.
And the reason why I chose to say like dysfunctional and not criminal family is because she writes a lot about her childhood, where she was born and brought up and what her life was like. And she writes about how she was, allegedly sexually abused by her father. There was a lot of experiences she had in her family, and that carried forward to her family when she became a mother.
Yeah.
So again, like while there are a lot of positive depictions in the media about dysfunctional families, there are quite a few negative ones.
Yeah, for sure.
Another thing that comes to mind when we talk about this is also so many influencers, today are getting divorced.
I was just gonna say the cases of divorce are going through the roof.
Yeah.
And one divorce that really, I'm as cringy as I'm going to sound, and that really affected me, and I know many other people. I was so surprised when it came out, was Kusha Kapila and Zorawar.
Yeah, they were a really cute couple.
They had that one TV show, whatever you want to call it, one video that they did on MX Takatak, which was how well do you know your partner.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. You go to my YouTube, it's on my favorites because I like it so much. I watch it once every 6 months because I just thought it was such a sweet video. It was so cute, their dynamic. And then to hear that, I was like, bro, thoda some percentage of belief and love came down. As cringy as I sound, I hate that I'm saying this, but it's true.
No, like I also have my favorites, and I also ship people together.
Oh my God.
A lot. And it does hurt when they break up. So I have these two Pakistani actors that I really, adore. Sajjal Ali.
I knew it. I know you so well, Natasha.
And I was watching their show, and when they got married in Abu Dhabi, and they had like the cutest wedding, and it was just so, their chemistry was just so amazing. And when I heard like a year later they got divorced, it was quite heartbreaking.
Oh, I don't even know them, and I didn't know them.
No, but coming back to the point, dysfunctional Indian families, I think there are a lot of layers to it. We can compartmentalize it into saying like, relationships and marriages in young people, families, families run by people like our parents from their generation, and that dysfunction. And the third layer is also when you live in a joint family, because then are multiple generations living together, and then that dysfunction.
I've lived in a joint family for the longest time, and my maternal side is still in a joint family. And I feel like a lot of the onus comes down to the adults.
Yeah.
The kids are going to be kids. They will fight. They will bitch about each other. They're just going to be kids. So I think that really makes a difference.
I mean, it's quite the opposite for me, because in my house, all the women are like, quite, of course, they're all equal to men. They're very like, strong-willed, go out there, made a name for themselves. And I've always encouraged the daughters, because we are the majority. Women in my family are the majority. Yeah. So I've looked at it in a different way. But dysfunction in both dynamics does exist.
For sure. Different kinds of dysfunction, different kinds of power dynamics, I would say, that causes dysfunction in the kids as well. But yeah, definitely dysfunction.
I often wonder that like us as a generation, we're so evolved or unevolved. And, like things were very different back then. I always wonder how we would be as parents and heads of families. Like it's just such a weird thing to even think about.
I think a lot of the times we believe that we won't make the same mistakes as our parents, or mistakes, I put in inverted commas. But I feel like we will end up making those and worse, I believe, in this generation.
I'm a little bit more positive about this than somebody else.
I feel like our parents did a very, very, very good job with whatever tools they had during that time. At least I can say that definitely for my parents or my friends' parents that I've had around me. And I see such great, well-raised children. But then I feel like today, because of the internet, our kids are going to lose their innocence early on, whether we like to accept it or not. And that's going to cause dysfunction in our families as well.
I feel like I'm at a school and the principal is giving me a speech on how I need to take care of my child.
Another very good movie from school I remembered. In school, our principal told our parents to watch this movie, Udaan. It is a very, very good film. In case anybody hasn't watched it out there, I would highly recommend this movie. It is genuinely one of the best movies. But I'm sorry.
So yeah, like when I think about dysfunctional families, this really whacked out story comes to my mind. So there's this one girl. I know her from back in college, and she was always, one of those who liked to kind of, smoke up and just, have fun and have a good time and stuff like that.
Recreational drugs.
Recreational drugs. And I think over a period of time, and especially during COVID, it just got very bad for her because she kept on using and using and using. And although I'm not in touch with her, but I know and I heard that, that led to a lot of like physical and like mental issues with her, especially, they say your nervous system starts reacting to the drugs, and it just like goes, it just like is very messed up. So one time what happened is, obviously because of her problems, she couldn't work, and she was at home for a very long period of time because it wasn't possible for her to take up any work. And this one time she got into a fight with her parents, and I don't know what the fight was about, but what I saw was what she streamed on Instagram, where her dad is just like sitting there, and it's dark. Like I think they were driving somewhere, and he's just like, stop it. And she's like, oh, you want to slap me? You want to hit me? And he's just like,
and she was instigating him.
She was instigating him, or probably she was just trying to, the opposite of romanticizing a situation, really like blowing it out of proportion. And she was just like, oh yeah, you want to hit me? This is how a father treats her. And he was, I don't know the whole story, but I know that it didn't seem like from the video that the dad was really trying to, attack her, because I mean the mom was there as well. So I just feel like, while we glorify and celebrate and are proud of the dysfunction, some people also take it in a very, take advantage of the situation is what I feel.
Yeah, I think of course that also happens with children of divorce. I have friends that have really, really, really taken advantage of their parents' divorce. Where they say that, I'm like multiple things where they start acting out and they're like, oh, I'm acting out because you guys got divorced, so I have all the rights to. And then the parents end up feeling so guilty that, oh, my child. Yeah. Or they say that, I'm in mom's house, and then they're actually chilling at a friend's house, or they hide stuff. And so I feel like even that way, kids do end up taking a lot of advantage of their own parents' dysfunction as well.
Yeah.
So we came up with a really fun sort of game, which is called What Would You Do With Your Dysfunctional Family? So this is basically, our team came up with 6-7 questions, I'm guessing. And they're random questions about complete dysfunction in a family. And we're just going to take turns answering it. I think I have it on my phone. 1 second. Yeah. So let me ask you the first one. What would you do if your sister came and told you she's in love with your cousin?
I just tell her to take a break, rewire her mind, and make sure it's in the right place. I don't think I would acknowledge.
I tell her, baby, this family's not into incest. We don't do that in this family. Okay. What would you do if either of your parents told you they're in love with someone else?
I mean, I think if they're not happy with each other and they find happiness somewhere else.
Yeah.
I think you were telling me about an interview that you heard. I think it was Alaya F. or...
Oh, yeah. There was this interview that I'd read or heard. I think it was Alaya F. And she said something on the lines of, the interviewer must have asked her that, the divorce was a very sad thing that had happened between. And she said, no, my parents getting divorced was the best thing that happened to me. And the interviewer was confused. Even you're confused as a listener. And she said, because I loved my stepmother and my half-brother so much, and had my dad not gotten divorced from my mother, I would have never had these two people in my life. And I was like, that's such a beautiful way of looking. And like Sara Ali Khan also on Coffee with Karan, if you remember, says that it's better to have 2 happy homes than 1 unhappy one.
Yeah.
So it's that sort of thing. Even I would.
It's a thing about, it's about perspective to everything.
Yes. And when you grow up, and I just told you this today in the morning, when you grow up, you realize your parents are also humans. When you're kids, you sort of say, oh, my dad's a superhero and my mom's, superwoman and stuff. When you grow up, you realize they also are human. They make mistakes and they want a chance to their own kind of happiness.
Yeah, and also they're doing it for the first time.
There was that reel, that your mom's also seeing the world for the first time.
For the first time as a mother.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would be okay with it, What would you do if either of your parents came out of the closet?
I think I'd celebrate that as well. Freedom is freedom of any kind.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah. I don't think I'd be too scandalized.
Yeah.
I'd be like, honestly, it's completely fine, Love who you want. What if you found out you have a step brother or sister now?
That's a tricky one.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, it depends on the circumstances. Obviously, in no situation is it the child's fault in any way.
100%.
So I'd give them a chance, to bond with them and to just have them in my life, regardless of what the situation has been.
Yes.
But outside of that, how to deal with it, with the parents of that child, like depending on which,
Yes, yes.
parent of mine and whatever is happening, that would be a bit tricky to, I mean, you can only be emotionally mature to a certain extent, right? After that, your emotions aren't going to get the better of you.
Yeah. I think having a
As happens to us during PMS.
Yeah. No, but I think I don't know. It entirely depends on how that person also is at the end of the day.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I think I'd be okay with it as well.
But yeah, no, I think like single parenting is also something that we're coming to accept, and we're
Yes.
coming to understand that dynamic as well, as part of the broader version of dysfunctional Indian families. For sure, I feel like it's something the society is learning how to respect.
And I think even the parents are doing a much better job than they did before as a
Yeah.
single parent. Like if you see even Neena Gupta, she's spoken about it so much of her time with Masaba, and how Masaba also spoke about how she was bullied in school for her mother being a single parent.
Yeah.
And that's so sad, But now I feel like if the same thing happened, people would just be like, okay, fine,
The same thing did happen. There was a woman, I think her story had even come on Humans of Bombay. Her name is Anmol. I don't remember her full name.
Yeah.
But she was dating a guy. They were serious. She
Yeah.
got pregnant. That
Yeah.
guy left her. But she still chose to raise the baby all on her own. And she's blogged about her story. She writes about it. She talks about it a lot.
Yeah.
And it's quite inspirational. And that takes a lot of courage and guts to be able to do that.
100%.
In a society that we live in, however evolved or unevolved it might be.
I think still
But yeah, I
unborn.
think quite inspirational. Some stories have been.
Yeah.
In that sense. But since we've covered the entire range of dysfunctional Indian families, at least to our best knowledge,
Yeah.
I think let's move on to the next segment.
Which is my favorite segment, the Reddit fishbowl.
Okay. Walked in on my parents doing the dirty a few days ago. The first thing in the morning. It's not the first time. I'm sorry if I offended anyone. I know there are more fucked up things here. The door was not closed and I didn't hear them banging, so I didn't know what was happening. If I would have known that they were doing the deed, I wouldn't have left my room. This is not the first time I caught them. They never care about the fact that I might hear them. The door is always open, so I refrain from going there if I know.
I don't think as a parent it's a good thing for you to scandalize your child like
To be
this.
so open about it.
Yeah. I think at the end, thoda some mystery or whatever you want to call it. Mystery or respect.
It's
or
not
whatever
a
you want
mystery. Like, I know where I've come from, but it doesn't mean that I have to have access to it every day.
Yeah. I think a little bit of, I don't know, then respect, mystery is the word I'm going with, should still be maintained. I think like in Modern Family, they gifted their parents a lock. Gift your parents a lock, let that be your gift to them. This anniversary, this Mother's Day, Father's Day, abhi Father's Day gaya, whatever, gift them a lock. I think that's my solution for you. But like in Modern Family, every time the lock hits, you're like, oh, that's disgusting. They're going to be doing it. But I think that's the only solution. As long
It
as,
is what it is.
yeah, because if she's heard it more than once, which means it's just, but actually you should feel happy that your parents are still doing it. My mother-in-law is absolutely wild. She is a drunk, cheats on her husband, and until recently verbally abused my husband, her son. She likes to make crass jokes about, oh my God. She likes to make crass jokes about his penis size.
The son's penis size.
Yes, based on what he was as a baby. Brackets, question mark, what mother does that? She stepped over so many boundaries that our children refused to be around her. At the beginning of the year, my husband and I were both working for her company. Oh. She asked him to do something very illegal, and when he said no, she fired both of us. We haven't spoken to her since, despite many attempts on her part to get back in touch. She was poison, and everything has been so much better now that she and her husband are out of our lives.
This is such a weird...
But I think a lot of women face this whole... even as a mother-in-law, they face this with a daughter-in-law, and they're like age-old as time. Like
comparing their son and husband.
No, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's fucking disgusting. But I'm just saying, like, women, like the daughter-in-law, mother-in-law fighting or whatever, I get. But yes, as in-laws, you have to have certain boundaries drawn.
Yeah.
And it's the husband's job to do it.
Yeah.
When you are going to a new house, you don't know the rules, you don't know the regulations. You're going to accustomed to it. But your husband has to be like, okay, these are the things, and this is what my wife likes, doesn't like, and this is what we should be doing within that sort of box.
Agreed. Moving on to the next one. My dad literally told me it wasn't sexual harassment, it was curiosity. Forget about it, he said. After I told him that my brother had forcibly tried to take my clothes off 10 years ago, those words are still stuck in my mind. I think this brushing under the carpet is a very Indian parents thing. Brush it under the carpet if you don't know how to deal with it and you're not aware of, how to bring that situation to justice. Just brush it under the carpet.
Brush it under the carpet, or a lot of kids also speak about, or even if in the movies you see they don't tell their parents such dysfunctional, crazy or sad things because they think their parents won't believe it. And that is also very, very sad.
Parents won't believe it, but I mean, like, for example, like if, you think about a parent and, their child comes up and tells them that, okay, I was sexually harassed or I was molested by, an XYZ family member. The people's first reaction is not, okay, however complicated it is, we need to kind of bring this to light. The immediate reaction is, what will other people say? Or how will we deal with
Log kya kahenge?
Yeah, what will other people say and how will we deal with that? So it's about the problems that come out of that problem rather than focusing on how problematic that problem is.
But I will give it to the new age India and the younger generation that we're moving away from this. Now people just don't give a flying fuck. You want to be a woman, dress up as a man, nobody cares. You want to be a man dressing up as a woman in a sari, nobody gives a fuck anymore. They're doing it and they're making fucking money through it. So I think now people are really shifting away from this log kya kahege topic or thought.
Yeah, fair enough.
So yeah, my turn. My mum had many affairs when dad was away for work. I used to think she was just friends. Many, many years later, she said she cheated. Oh, those were just her friends, and many, many years later, she said that she cheated. Already my parents kept fighting over money, and now this. Yes, this impacted my trust, and I don't want to marry because of this. I think a lot of our parents' dysfunction also affects us.
So I read this, I was watching this interesting. I love watching this show on YouTube called the Infographics Show. Okay. They basically pick out topics like, how was Osama bin Laden killed, or how did X and Y happen, and they show it through infographics, and it's quite like fun. So I was watching, I don't remember, probably it was Ted Bundy, I'm not sure, but how his entire life started and what led to the multiple murders that he committed. And not just that, I watched a lot of documentaries on, murderers, or all
it's
criminals.
Their childhood.
It's their childhood,
yes,
exactly. It's
I've seen it.
Certain things and situations that they faced in their childhood that stay in their subconscious so strongly that them without realizing it affects their
morality.
Not morality, it just affects their perception, their emotions that they can't control, their urges. A lot of it comes from like whacked out things that they've seen or experienced in their childhood.
Yeah.
Which is, quite sad.
Yeah.
I go to college with a guy whose mum comes once a week from 3 hours away to do his laundry, cook him meals. He's 26 years old and he wasn't even ashamed to admit that.
I think that's sweet. I'm sorry, but I don't think it's wrong for a mother to come once a week. If she lives 3 hours away, poor thing, it's her child at the end of the day.
A 26-year-old child?
Even if he's 50. For a mother, a son is a son and a daughter is a daughter.
I don't like this culture. Like, I remember when it was COVID, I saw this video.
All your stories are like, when it was COVID, I was sitting at home and watching content.
That's pretty much what everyone was doing. But I saw this video where there was a mother. She had an oxygen mask on. She was carrying the oxygen cylinder with her. She was in the kitchen. She was making rotis. And the caption was, "Maa to maa hoti hai." What does that mean, yeah? Like, there's a limit to everything. Like, what are you glorifying?
Please find this account so bad.
That video is everywhere. People are going to definitely find it on YouTube.
Guys, we have to find this video. Oh my God.
No, but I mean, this is like a much more toned down version of that. Like,
no, Natasha, I really don't think so. If they meet only once a week and he's 26, which is
meeting is okay, but having her come cook clean for you, it's a bit much. Let's agree to disagree. Let's agree to disagree and move on.
Okay, I'm 21 and my parents still hit me. Welcome to India. तुम्हें चपेट, तुम्हें बेल्ट, तुम्हें चप्पल, तुम्हें हैंगर, सबसे पड़ेगी. Welcome to India.
Says somebody who's from Dubai.
Shut up. Dubai में भी मेरे पापा मुझे मारते थे, सोचो. They made me feel like trash if I didn't get enough grades. That's sad. Chalo, okay, fine. Bicharu. I'm sorry. It was so bad when I was in the 10th to 12th grades. Like I wouldn't even come out to have dinner when my dad was around because I was scared of getting hit. Now I'm in med school purely because I wanted to be seen as worthy by them. And now I'm regretting it a lot. Just study hard and get out of this shithole ASAP. And make sure you don't carry this bitterness throughout your life and don't pass it on to your kids. So he's given the problem and the solution himself.
No, I feel like, again, validation is the biggest root cause of issues that, happen in dysfunctional families, whether it's, parents trying to seek validation, kids trying to seek validation from their parents or from their grandparents, because it's like somebody set the rule and I have to follow it in order for me to be worthy of doing anything, which I feel is really wrong.
But don't you feel as a child you are going to seek for validation to your parents? Like when I do something great, I want to, like when I would come home from school and I got even one star and I'm like, Mommy, see, I got a star.
No, of course, see, like I'm not talking about that type of validation. I'm talking about the validation that, okay, we've set these kind of rules and unless and until you don't follow these rules that we've set in this family, you're not a good kid or you don't deserve to be part of this family.
Yeah, that of course. You can't shame the child for being their own
for
person.
being different.
Yes.
So that, and again, like I think like parents also hold a tremendous amount of power over kids, a tremendous amount of power, which some parents may tend to exploit.
Yeah. Guilt tripping.
Guilt tripping, exactly. Guilt tripping is a very, very major thing Indian parents, do. My father-in-law casually told me to not wear clothes that show off my body shape, and I don't know how I feel about this. Complications of
yes. My take on this is a little bit different because it is again on the kind of surrounding and house you live in. Certain times parents tell us something to save us from certain situations. Like I was in Delhi with a friend and he had told me at that time, he's like, after 9 o'clock don't step out, and especially if you're wearing this, don't step out. For a second I took offense and then I realized that no, he's right. Because when I was standing there, I also felt like, it's maybe people are looking at me badly or whatever. So a lot of the times men or mothers or sometimes they come from a place of, nothing wrong should happen to you.
No, I mean, yeah, of course, that thought is there. But there's an approach to sorting. You can't make someone uncomfortable and also you don't know the intention.
That's exactly. So I'm saying it from not knowing the intention. I think if I was the parent, this would be my intention. But ye bhaiya ka pata nahi kya hai uncle ka. I don't know what this uncle's this thing is. But yeah. Okay, this one has a trigger warning, miscarriage. She said, inverted commas, what's more, 31 years or 10 weeks? I was like, what? And then she explained to me that her pain was so much bigger than mine when she lost her son when he was 31. When I took him compared to my pain when I lost my pregnancy. That's why she wasn't able to be supportive when it happened. We need to understand her and her feelings. It's not always about us. I think of breaking contact at this point because this is just one of the many extremely crazy and hurtful things she said. I'm currently 17 weeks pregnant and just want to have a calm and an uneventful pregnancy.
That's so fucked up.
This is really like, how can you compare a child dying as a mother? How can you compare a child dying to your son getting married? I think getting married in India is a joyous occasion.
But I think there is a lot of mothers who have an unhealthy obsession with their sons. I've read about it a lot.
I've seen it as well.
Yeah. I just didn't want to be the one saying it.
I think that brings us to the end
of our Reddit fishbowl.
Yeah, it does.
I think we've had too much talk about dysfunction
and the bad kind of dysfunction so far. But guys, I have to ask you a very important question, Natasha. A very, very important, serious one.
Which is?
Do you think that Hum Saath Saath Hai was a dysfunctional family? Do you think that they were a dysfunctional family in Hum Saath Saath Hai?
I don't think, Mallika.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T. Sing with me.
No, I'm not going to sing with you. But
Y, Z. I love you.
Okay, on that note, we're going to end our podcast on Indian dysfunctional families in 2024.
Did you guys think Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum mein Yashwardhan Raichand was a dysfunctional family man?
The questions will keep coming, but the camera is going to stop.
Keh diya na bas. Keh diya. I think we can cut, guys. Cut! Cut!